Fair use, fair use. We want to come and bring you some information. This professor here, he is explaining why there's going to be a second civil war, right? And he's describing the breakdown in the breakdown in America, how it is deteriorating, it's degenerating, and the different areas that uh, was looked at as a strength, the strengths of America. But now he's describing how America is breaking down and is coming to an end scientifically. This is some research, and let's watch.
The 2,000 or 73,000, I can't remember, okay? That's a lot of special forces. These guys are trained in demolition, destroying buildings. They're an army unto themselves, okay? It would take exactly 1,000 of these guys, to overthrow the US government, okay? And guess what? Delta Force, which is the most elite special force unit in America, has exactly 1,000 members. So you have this guy who runs Delta Force. He's like, I want to overthrow the U.S. government for whatever reason. He can do so because they're so powerful. Okay? So I think special forces, it's just a bomb waiting to explode. So the first major issue is just the over-militarization of America, where anyone who has access to weapons can choose to start a war. Okay? That's the first problem. Second problem is the breakdown of narratives. Okay? So a nation is a fiction, a narrative that everyone believes in. And there are certain narratives that have kept America united, okay? So for example, the first narrative is the American dream, right? The equality of opportunity. So that as long as you work hard and you play by the rules, you will succeed in America, right? That's the American dream. Guess what, guys? No one believes in this anymore, okay? And the reason why is the inequality in America, as well as the culture wars. So if you're a young person, you don't believe that if you work hard, you own a house, and you will be wealthy. You don't believe that, okay? You think like the game is stacked against you. You believe that Washington is corrupt. It only serves the interests of the rich. You believe that the wealthy have stolen everything. They've monopolized wealth. And you believe that whatever money you make will be stolen by the rich and by the government, okay? So there's absolutely no reason to work hard. So this idea that if you work hard, you will succeed, it's dead, okay? Now the new American dream is, how do I stay out of debt? Right? If you're a college graduate, you have tens of thousands of dollars in debt. Consumers have thousands of dollars in credit card debt. You can no longer afford houses. If you buy a house, you can't pay off the mortgage, okay? So this idea of the American dream, it's basically dead for most people. Then you have the narrative that America is good. Okay? You believe that America represents democracy. It represents liberty. It defends freedom all around the world. Guess what, guys? Most people in America don't believe this anymore, okay? So, for example, on the left, people are taught that America is a nation founded on slavery, violence, and war. America is a force of destruction and evil. Okay? That's what people on the left are taught. People on the right believe that America is an imperialist power that goes around and destroys countries for no reason. Okay? So most people don't actually believe that America is a force for good anymore. All right? And then you look at what's happening in Israel, right? Well, more young people now believe that America is a force of evil in the world. The other narrative that's really important is the narrative of liberalism. And the idea of liberalism is that even though we have differences, there are mechanisms for us to work out our differences. For example, the right to freedom of speech, okay? Freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want, okay? But what's important is to debate the opponent and come to a compromise based on logic, evidence, and the facts, okay? So for the longest time, liberalism was what brought the left and the right together, okay? Liberalism tried to be in the middle. But now, liberalism is dead, okay? And the reason why is in 2016, Donald Trump became president of the United States, and the liberals in America went crazy. They could not believe that Donald Trump could be elected. So they came to believe that the problem was democracy itself. The problem is that people could not be reasoned with. Therefore, liberalism makes no sense. If people are...
See, I just want to stop here to show you we are not crazy. The Israelites are not crazy. This is either Japanese or Chinese. I'm sorry, sir. Enjoying your lecture, but we are not crazy. The Most High is bringing this terrorist government corporation down, and nobody believes in the voting system anymore. Nobody believes in the Democrat or the Republican. Are they gonna somehow repent and be sorry for what they're doing to the people, and all of a sudden give the people their power back and start working for the people? Nobody believes that anymore. He's building up to the reason why the Civil War has to happen. Nobody, the government don't really have any power unless we believe in them. If we stop believing in them, what are they going to do? Go cut the water off, cut all the food off? No, they are going to have to do what we tell them to do. If nobody's going checking for them and going after them and asking them to do anything, then they are people that just up there writing blank checks to themselves. What are they going to do? Come out and lock all the people up and make us pay taxes? Because they got Delta Force, they got the best military, the best Air Force. We got four of the major best, the five best Air Force in the country, in the world, is the United States Air Force, the United States Navy Air Force, United States Army Air Force, and the United States Marine Air Force. We say Air Force because when they can attack you from the air, they can just about beat you. Okay? So just because they have these military power, they're going to round us, all the people in the United States, up and make us subject ourselves to their jurisdiction and their will. That's what Donald Trump is depending on. They have Delta Force. That's what these rich people are depending on. And that's why Donald Trump is out there, because they know that the people are not going to play ball with them anymore. We're going to start growing our own food. We're going to, and all the rich people going to be ass out, man. That's why they're trying to force us into martial law, into a dictatorship. They might have to use martial law to do it, of course, but they're going to force us, and not only black people, they threatening us, but they're taking power from all the people. See, they can't really threaten white people yet because they need them. They need white supremacists and all the prejudiced people to stand on their side, because if they stand by themselves, let's see how many people, what do they have? So many. They only have so many military people that is willing to stand for white supremacy, because we have a mixed military. It's not like other countries that have you know a one nation military. We have a mixed military, so the military will fight against themselves, right? So let's keep watching.
Stupid. If people cannot be reasoned with, why give them freedom of speech? Why let them debate? Why let them, liberalism makes no sense. If people are stupid, if people cannot be, they could not believe that Donald Trump could be elected. So they can believe that the problem was democracy itself. The problem is that people could not be reasoned with. Therefore, liberalism makes no sense. If people are stupid, if people cannot be reasoned with, why give them freedom of speech? Why?
So the people who voted for Donald Trump and were the stupid people, they considered them stupid and feeble-minded. You are the main reason why they're setting up dictatorship. They can get you to stand with them and help them bring in government. Government do not need consent of the people. They do not get their power from the people. And you're going to help them create that? You dumb people that voted for Trump? Then you are the main reason that they are creating this dictatorship. That they're making, that they're like all the rest of the countries. They're forcing their people by military, by guns, by threat of death, to do everything they tell them to do. They're not working for you anymore. You are their prisoners. And you dumb, racist people who gonna die in a few years of old age and sickness and disease, y'all setting y'all children up to be slaves. Let's keep listening.
Why let them debate? Why let them vote? Okay? So liberalism today is dead. So the stories,
wait a minute, I want to hear what he said about
the problem
voting.
is that people could not be reasoned with. Therefore, liberalism makes no sense. If people are stupid, if people cannot be reasoned with, why give them freedom of speech? Why let them debate? Why let them vote? Okay?
See that?
So liberalism today is dead.
There you go.
So the stories that basically bind the country together no longer work. Okay? Does that make sense?
Now, see, that's right there. That's of God. You see what I mean? That's tearing Babylon down. That's the Second World War. So we headed for Second Civil War. But not only that, that's the Most High breaking Babylon down again. The nation that gathered all people among themselves, make the world one, make their world one, use all the people for slavery. The Most High is breaking this Babylon down. It's all of the will of God, but just showing you the different phases of it and looking and see, how the Most High is chiseling away at this kingdom is amazing, and I'm so happy to see it, and that's why I'm showing you this video.
The third problem is breakdown of authority or institutions. Okay? What kept the country together was the fact that people believed that the elites in power knew what they were doing, and they cared about the well-being of the nation and of the people. Okay? But
now, see, that's what kept black people trusting and voting and being patriotic, black and white, and all the other nations that came over here, because they thought that the United States and the power that be had checks and balances to make sure everybody was safe here. They preach safety. They are the light bearers. They are the angels of light. But they are really the wolves in sheep clothing with their religion and with their propaganda saying they love everybody, come over here and be a part of the American dream, when they wanted you to come over here so they can use you to build themselves up as kings and priests.
These events have shown this isn't true, okay? So, for example, the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, right? Well, why did America fight these wars? For no reason. Then you had the 2008 financial crisis, where the banks basically stole from the nation, stole from the poor, and kept the money. And everyone
And said, Obama, he bailed them out. He bailed them out. He bailed them out. Obama bailed them out. So everybody that they got set in place are puppets, and the puppet master controls the strings. They use our weakness and our not able to think, not able to see behind the curtain. They use all of that, our inferiority, against us. They use our ignorance against us. The fact that we think that they're for us, they use that against us. They are wolves in sheep clothing. Let's keep watching.
Everyone was screwed, okay? Then you had COVID. Right? COVID, where the government, the elite, locked down the entire nation. Kids could not go to school. The poor could not go to work and make a living. And there was absolutely no evidence that COVID was actually dangerous. Okay? Then the government made everyone take an experimental vaccine. And people were like, why are we doing this? Okay? So elite actions over the past 20 years have made people cynical of power. So that in today's world, there's actually, in today's America, there's no more trusted institution, okay? Before you had government, you had media, like New York Times, Washington Post, you had science, you had military, okay? And the government is like, they're just corrupt, right? Screw them. Congress is just hated by everyone, okay? The media just speaks for the rich. They're always lying to us, right? New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, they're just liars. Okay? So no one trusts the media anymore. Then you have science. And you can't trust science because of COVID, right? Science made everyone take an experimental vaccine for no reason. So you can't trust science anymore.
So, black people never did trust science, not their science, because they knew that it was a biological weapon. It could be used as a biological weapon against us. And we knew that they were a bunch of liars, and so we never did trust them because they stole all of the research from us. They stole research from the medical doctors who they think the fathers. We created all the advances. We were instrumental in making all the medical advances. Heart surgery. We say they're blue babies. We said they're babies. From the blue baby syndrome. We saved them. Black man saved them. Mos Def played that movie. It was actually a documentary. But yeah, we made all the medical advances that they could survive on this earth. That's why they cleave to us, because of they know our uniqueness. Our not unique, but our brilliance. They capitalize on our brilliance. Okay? Let's keep watching.
Military goes fights wars for no reason. Look at Ukraine, look at Israel, okay? So in other words, there's no institution in America that can bring people together anymore. They're not trusted.
That's right.
Oh, and also, sorry, I forgot about universities. Before people trusted universities, but not anymore because of the culture.
You can't forget that. With all that money we spent and they miseducated us. Look at the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2. We've been not trusting their educational system because they only dumb us down. They only make better slaves out of us. They took all the trades out of the high school that they were teaching our men and women. We didn't have to go to college because we became builders of the community. We had trades that could help our community. We didn't even have to go to their communities to get their engineers and their techs and their technicians and their what they call them professional people, the specialists. You know, we didn't need them because we were specialists in everything we need to sustain our communities, right? We learned in high school, so they said that ain't gonna work. That's gonna make them. They're not gonna be supporting our businesses. They're gonna have their own businesses. They're gonna become powerful, and they're gonna invent some stuff, and they're gonna God is just gonna bless them. We got to capitalize off of their brilliance, so we got to keep them coming to us. That was the curse. It wasn't that God, God, he ordained all of that. He said you're gonna have to go to them for everything, but some of it was foreknowledge. We were predestinated according to his foreknowledge. He knew what these people were going to do. He knew their hatred, and he knew the things that they were going to do to cut us off. He knew what their jealousy would lead them to do to stand against us, to cause us to stay subordinate to them. Okay? He knew what was happening. He saw their thinking. They thought it. Now they guilty of what they did. Just because God told us it would happen to us and the type of slavery we would be in, it don't stop these people from being accountable of their wicked doings to us, okay? Because a lot of the Calvinists say, well, if God knew it already, he must ordain it. Nobody had self-will. Yeah, they were accountable for their wicked thinking because God gave them a choice too. They could bless us or they could curse us. Let's finish.
Institution in America that can bring people together anymore. They're not trusted. Oh, and also, sorry, I forgot about universities. Before people trusted universities, but not anymore because of the culture wars, right? So that's the problem in America right now. You have three things going on. You have the militarization of society where anyone can start a war for no reason, okay? Second is that you have a breakdown of the stories, the narratives that bind the country together. So no one knows what it means to be American anymore. And number three is there are no more authority figures, no more institutions that can bring people together. They can only divide people. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay? And this is getting worse. So, we've seen the government fall, the media fall, the science fall, military fall, universities. But there's also the justice system, right? The courts. And this is falling as well because of Donald Trump. Remember, like last week in New York City, Donald Trump was convicted guilty of 34 felonies, okay? And so people are now no longer trusting the court system, the justice system, okay? So again, all these sacred institutions in America, they're all falling one by one. Okay? So does this make sense? So if you look at all this, okay, America's history of violence, the conflicts raging in America, and the fact that America no longer believes in institutions and in narratives, okay, then the most likely outcome is a civil war.
That's right.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So any questions so far?
That's biblical.
So what does
He's showing you
the
scientifically.
American president have in power, because most of the power is kind of like are held by different institutions?
Yeah, so Celine asked a very good question, like how powerful is the American president? The answer is that he's really a figurehead. Okay, he's not that powerful. Okay, because as Celine points out, power is diffuse in America in institutions, and if these institutions are corrupt, there's very little the president can do about it. And that's why this year, in November 2024, we will see the lowest turnout, one of the lowest turnouts of voters in American history, because people would just give up, okay? Right? 4 years ago, they came out to kick Trump out of office because they believed that Trump was a threat to democracy. And with Biden, people recognize that, no, it's all corrupt. Just burn the system down. Who cares? Okay?
Well, I thought the black people was crazy. I thought black men was responsible. So they not telling you that, and he prophesied it. He just prophesied it out his mouth. That was before the election, what he just said. So the Most High is using everybody, the earth and people, to speak and to help wake people up. He just prophesied it. It came true. We see the reaction. We see the aftermath. It was the lowest turnout. Everybody blaming black men. Everybody blaming black men. Now they're blaming the Mexicans for voting for him. Oh, man. God is wearing y'all out, man. This is proof right here that the Most High is tearing this system down, man. Right.
So no one cares who's president anymore. And that's going to help Trump in November. Okay? Any more questions before I move on?
So who will be fighting each other, since there's a lot of different beliefs in America and there's not really like dividing between two?
Okay, so Celine asked the question, what will the Civil War look like? Okay, that's a very good question. And the answer is, it will look nothing like the first Civil War, okay? Because in the first Civil War, there was clearly a division that divided the nation, okay? A pro-slavery camp and an anti-slavery camp, okay? But as you can see from this chart, in today's America, conflicts, there are many sorts of conflicts, there are many sorts of factions in America, okay? And therefore, the Civil War will not be one event, but it will be a series of violent episodes over 10, 20, 50 years, okay? Does that make sense?
Okay, it ain't going to be that long, but I like what he started out saying, because that's Bible prophecy. It's going to be a series of birth pains. They have already started for the Edomites and the 2/3. It's going to be a series of birth pains, because through the birth pains, God is going to deliver the 1/3 of Israel. Now we in the womb right now. We in the sack, and God is delivering us. So 2/3 of Israel and the rest of you evangelical Christians and the rest of you people that's in this land with us, y'all are going to be suffering that series of events that's taking America down. It ain't gonna take no 30 to 50 years either. We couldn't last that long. So the baby can't stay in the womb in a delivery no 30 and 50 years. So Israel is being delivered, and yeah, it's gonna be a quick birth. Trust me, it's gonna be a quick birth. Okay, let's listen. He's off on that.
So let's go over these events. Okay, the first thing that would probably happen are sort of riots and unrest. Okay,
Right.
and we saw that during the first Trump presidency because of the George Floyd Black Lives Matter protests. Okay, so we'll see more of that when Trump becomes president, where people are so angry at this election they'll start rioting. Okay, and there'll be a lot of unrest.
So he's off on that, right? We in that part right now. That's the unrest is what he's taking from Karl Marx. He's jumping the gun right now. He's saying that's the first thing. That's not the first thing. We know he's a false prophet, right? He's a false prophet. Although God uses false prophets sometimes. Sometimes they can see even a broke clock is right at least twice a day. So we know he's wrong. He's a false prophet, right? We see unrest, but Karl Marx and all of them. It's called the conflict theory. When people he's based this on the conflict theory. When people get so mad at the government, they go out in the streets and start taking what's theirs. But he said, so that's 100 years old, maybe. Karl Marx. That theory is 100 years old, and that's just common sense, man. We see that happening over and over in society. That's why they're preparing, because they know there are only so much people going to take. But he said that would be the first thing. It's not the first thing. The first thing is he rounded up the tare. The people who are going in slavery right now that he's rounding up is not Israel. Because Israel, I want to get that scripture, but I showed y'all, man. I already showed y'all so many times. And I think it's in, let's see. He would not allow Israel to go back. He would not allow them to put us back in slavery to Egypt again. He would not allow them to put us back in Egypt again. God is going to step in. Donald Trump he's working on trying to enslave all the people, but to keep his base on his side, he's gonna turn to us and try to force us back in those chains and in those fields again. That's when the Most High is gonna step in and send the plagues of Egypt. I think I need to get that. It ain't gonna take me long to get that. All right, let's check this out. It's 2nd Ezra 15. Let's start at verse 9. And therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Verse 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. Now, meaning after slavery, to go back. We in Egypt, right? So he ain't talking about now. He ain't talking about we won't go into slavery in spiritual evil Babylon ever. He's saying after slavery. He's talking about after slavery, 1865. After they release us so-called in slavery, because Jeremiah, Ezekiel talks about how he's upset, he's mad with the nations because they held us too long. Meaning we are out of slavery. Meaning after we get out of slavery, they're going to try to put us in slavery again, but he's not going to allow us to go back into the land, dwell in the land of Egypt again. That don't mean that somebody plan to take us back to Egypt. The Egyptians gonna take us back and take us in captivity again. He ain't bringing up something ain't nobody talked about. He never talked about that. The Egyptians are destroyed. They have Arabs living in their land now. They got Ishmael and Esau mixed up in their land right now. So we know he ain't talking about them. He already done said it. He ain't bringing that up like redundant. He's not feeble-minded. He's talking about they're going to try, as they're going through these birth pains, they're going to try to force us back in slavery again. And it's not going to happen. So what I'm saying is that if people are going into slavery again, then this scripture is wrong. He said, I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egyptians with plagues before I will destroy all the land thereof. Before he destroy us, all America, where they're trying to put us back in slavery again, he's going to bring all the plagues. He said he's not going to let them do that again. He said, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with plagues, and the punishment that God shall bring upon it. Before he let them do that. So the people that are going back in chains and cages are the tare. They are the tare, okay? That's who they are. Sorry to say, they are the tare. You can go try to gather. Didn't the Bible tell you not to gather up the tare? Didn't the Bible tell us over here not to gather up the tare? See, because y'all Israelites Y'all stuck on stupid, man. Y'all talking about they gotta be our people because they was in captivity with us. Okay, look at this. While men slept, Matthews, you see it? Matthews, okay, you see it. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed terror. That's his seed. That's Esau's seed and all the nations. They came over and had their field day with our women, right? But that's why we were in captivity, sleep, and we didn't know who they were. They raped us, put babies in our women, right? And they sowed terror among the wheat and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up, when the crop started coming out of the ground and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tare. All right, so we sprung up now. We woke up, and we're coming back to our nationality, and we're claiming our sovereignty. Meaning, we're not subject to your jurisdiction. You know, we coming out from among America. We getting our fruit. We bringing us the fruit. We're not part of your government anymore. We only obey God. We have His laws. Christ is our governor. We have His laws. We judge ourselves. We're not Negro, black, and colored. Bringing forth fruit. Then appeared the tare. Now, who's the tare? The people that Esau brought in, right? He brought them across the border, just flooded them. Joe Biden, Obama, they brought them in and said, hey, y'all can be white people. He then appeared to tare. Here we are. So you're gonna see the tare. And then so the servant of the household, the servants of the household came and said to the master of the household, Sir, didst thou sow good seed in the field? From whence then come the tare? So you're gonna recognize a new group of people, and white people are saying it. You're gonna recognize a new group of people, Hispanics, Native American peoples. You're gonna recognize a new group of people who's saying they were here first. That you owe them. You owe me. We got laws in our country. In our country, we were here first. The Negro, they coming over here saying, give us their portion. Give us their portion. We want their crumbs that you're giving them. We want you to give them to us. Put us above them. That Joe Biden said, y'all gonna have to start going to the Latinos. They gonna be in power over y'all. And God shut that down, didn't He? And did He shut that down and send them plagues out? Okay. And so He said, it's so good seed in the field in verse 27. Sir, didst thou not sow good seed in the field? From whenceforth come the tare? A lot of people say, you ain't gonna know the tare. You ain't gonna know the tare. Yes, you will. They just said they saw them. And they came when we start bearing good fruit. When the nations start coming out from among these heathens and claiming our own, declaring who we are based on our ancestry. And He said unto them, an enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, nay, least while that you gather them up, gather up the tare, you root up the wheat with them. So he wasn't worried about the tare getting tore up, right? He told us, the Most High, this is the Most High talking to us. We can't say who is Israel by bloodline, because there's a new group of people on them. You won't be able to really tell them apart by their bloodline, but you can look and say they mulattoes. You don't know if their bloodline is from a Negro, the father is a Negro, or the Esau is the father. So he said, don't pluck them up because you don't know where the roots are connected to, right? So he told us not to pluck them up. He said, don't gather them up either. Don't go and just say, oh, okay, all of y'all that's speaking Latinos and Native American, y'all got light skin, y'all in the land with us, so we're going to gather all y'all up and come with us. No, the Spirit will gather them up. We could keep reading. We could keep reading through here, and we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. He's going to cast them in the furnace. Let's see. Let's watch it. As therefore the tare are gathered, as therefore the tare are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth angels, and they shall be gathered out of his kingdom. Verse 41, gathered out of his kingdom. Not burned when the nukes hit. They're going to be gathered out of his kingdom. What's happening right now? Oh, y'all crazy. What's happening right now? He sent forth his angels. He got evil angels too. He sent for his angels, the ice, and gathered them out of his kingdom. They ain't with us no more. They cussing. You niggas, we ain't this. They mad. Who y'all think y'all is? We better than y'all. We just came to steal y'all stuff anyway. You dumb so-and-sos. Okay, gather them out of his kingdom. We are his kingdom. We are God's kingdom. We are his portion. We are the kingdom. We are his chosen. All things that offend. Gather out of his kingdom all things that offend. Anybody that's offending us, he gathering them out right now. Using wicked angels. The good angels is supervising these wicked angels. And them which do iniquity. And shall cast them into a furnace of fire. And there shall be wailing and glass. That's the lake of fire right there. But he said he's going to come and gather them out of the nations, right? Okay, all right. Let's get back over here and finish this lecture off. It's not going to be long. I'm not going to look at all of it.
Second is basically civil conflict because of the George Floyd Black Lives Matter protests, okay? So we'll see more of that when Trump becomes president, where people are so angry at this election, they'll start rioting, okay? And there'll be a lot of unrest. Second is basically civil conflict, meaning that neighbors take guns against each other. So America...
Do you know he's going right down Bible prophecy, man? Where you think he get the wisdom, man? He's listening to the Israelites and he's looking at the Bible. He's going right down Bible prophecy. That's second Esdras, man. That's in the 15th chapter too. It's all through Esdras.
America is divided between left and right, but there are actually pockets of America where left and right take guns against each other. So it's basically civil conflict, meaning that neighbors take guns against each other. So America is divided between left and right, but there are actually pockets of America where left and right are they live very closely with each other, okay? Right. So it's very likely to take arms against each other. Right. But these would be small, isolated affairs where maybe one or two people get killed, okay? So you have civil conflict. Then you have state or city secession. Sorry, I spelled this wrong. Secession. Meaning that you have maybe one city, New York City, or one state, California, and they're so disgusted by the state of affairs, they declare independence, okay? They succeed. And guess what? They have their own army. Their citizens are armed, okay? But they'll most likely be attacked by other states or different groups, okay? So that would be a more major conflict, okay? Then you have what we'll call insurgencies. So basically, a political group who's trying to form.
We're gonna look back at that again, but this is for those Israelite camps who said we don't need guns because we can't beat the United States. We ain't gonna fight the United States. You ain't gonna fight the United States. You know that's in prophecy too. That it's gonna be people fighting. It's gonna be certain states that have martial law. Going to be certain places you can't go. You're going to have to protect your home. You're going to have to gather militias together. All that's going to come before Christ come back. Oh, you don't need assault weapons. No, but y'all got them. You other militias got assault weapons. The only reason our kids and stuff are killing each other because you done went in and took all their resources out. You got them in bondage. You done took everything that our relatives left us to an inheritance to survive, and you put them on dope. And you took the godliness from them when you took their fathers out, and you made it illegal for us to say we were Israelites. You took our identity. That's where the hatred come from. But let's go.
A government of some sort, okay? So it's possible that you have Christian extremists or maybe left-wing extremists, major conflict, okay? Then you have what we'll call insurgencies. Affairs, they declare independence, okay? They succeed. And guess what? They have their own army. Their citizens are armed, okay? But they'll most likely be attacked by other states or different groups. Okay? So that would be a more major conflict, okay? Then you have what we'll call insurgencies. So basically, a political group who's trying to form a government of some sort, okay? So it's possible that you have Christian extremists or maybe left-wing extremists who try to overthrow the government of, I don't know, New York or Virginia, okay? Right? Then you have coup d'etats, where basically an arm of the military, maybe special forces, most probably special forces, tries to overthrow the government. Okay? So I think because of the way things are structured, in the next civil war, all these things will happen at once. Okay? And they'll build on top of each other.
Wow.
But remember that America is a very large country. So there could be a lot of places where it's very peaceful. There's no war, okay?
That's Bible prophecy too. Nate was talking about that the other day, man. You know. And so yeah, all of those birth pains are stacking up. All that's gonna stack up, man. They're gonna get worse and worse. Those birth pains, all that is to deliver us from this nation. Bringing them down is delivering us from the womb. Okay, we're in the womb right now. We're in the womb. They placed us that from birth. I got another teaching I want to show you guys, but this is setting it all up. I'm glad you guys are listening. I'm not going to hold you long. Just listen to a little more of this.
But there could also be some places like New York City or Los Angeles where there's just a lot of violence going on. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's it.
Listen. So the special forces do have the ability to do that.
Okay. So whether or not the U.S. government is overthrown, that's a very specific question. I don't know. Okay. The only thing I can do is look at the structural forces and conclude that a civil war is very likely and that the civil war it will be very chaotic. But what will actually happen in a civil war, I don't actually know. Okay. Okay, but what I will say is that given the nature of the Civil War, I think once the war ends, the outcome will be that America becomes a Christian, isolationist theocracy.
And so we'll stop right there because we know he's a false prophet and he's saying what they want him to say. You know, they had to come out and give some truth because this is Bible, and we already brought it out. So he's a CIA op, and they give a little truth, and now they trying to give you hope that the country's going to continue and those nukes ain't going to hit. those nukes are going to hit. It ain't going to be no more America. So we can stop right there. All praises to the Most High in Christ. Gonna put a little funny AI picture up here, but please check this video out. You can go check him out too. What's his name? There's his name right there. There he is. You can look for that. I don't know. We don't see his name, but look for that title right there. Predictive history. Predictive history. He's predicting, but not all. He's not doing it right. He's not doing it with the Spirit of God, right? Sociology is his major, so now they're listening to the Bible. They are listening to the Bible because everything he just said is coming out of 2nd Ezra. All right. God bless.